All right, no taxation without representation. Many have heard this quote as a slogan originates from American colonists against British rule. Now, while this quote is mainly speaking of the different types of representation, there is a question to be asked. Are we fairly being represented within our own tax system, and is it fair? Does it represent the American people and our current economy? Those are the questions I hope to answer within this essay. In order to determine whether or not the American tax system is fair, we must first understand what it is. The American tax system is a sophisticated framework that navigates complicated political and economic environments while providing funding for necessary public services. Federal, state, and municipal taxes make up a majority of it, with income tax serving as the main source of funding at the federal level. Higher earning pay higher tax rates under the system's progressive taxation paradigm, which reflects societal preferences for income redistribution. This framework seeks to reduce economic inequality and finance social services like healthcare and education. This is incredibly essential for the framework of our country. America relies on the dollars from its taxpayers to allow us to keep the country functioning and fluctuating. Now that we understand the tax system and its importance to our framework, let's begin to discuss the problem it has. The first problem being the wealth gap and how many are not taxed fairly. As many companies and wealthy have begun to dodge and avoid their taxes through underhanded methods. According to Pew Research Center, a survey, a sizable majority of Americans, 61%, are worried that businesses do not pay their fair share in taxes, and 60% of them have the same concerns about rich people. This emotion fluctuates a growing dissatisfaction with perceived injustices in the tax system and the wealthy inequality. Since many people feel the individuals with more money should pay more to fund infrastructure and public services, the tax differences and the burden that's generated concerns about social fairness and economic equity. In a country that is known for their fairness and freedom, the wealthy have been the ones to take the most advantage of its consumers. This has caused a ripple within the American people, as the people cannot live, let alone take on the financial burden of the country. It is only reasonable for everyone to pay their fair share in taxes. However, when some wish to avoid this outcome, it is at the cost of our own economy. It has been talked about numerous times how many of the rich and wealthy find legal loopholes into dodging their taxes. However, I do not believe this country understands how much it hurts the American people, your everyday citizens, such as yourselves. Although the current American tax system fairness is sometimes contested, it has features that are consistent with redistribution and equity. Since higher earners must pay a bigger portion of their income in taxes than those with lower incomes. The current system is inherently progressive. By redistributing the wealth, this structure serves to reduce economic inequality, which benefits middle and low income classes. The goal of such a system is to guarantee that those with more financial resources make a longer contribution to the financing of the infrastructure and public services that have benefited the whole community. Although many have discovered that the tax system frequently revolves around the loopholes that the wealthy take advantage of, this highlights a problem within the tax enforcement rather than the deficit in the American system's architecture. For example, prominent individuals such as Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos have employed tactics that have enabled them to reduce their tax obligation. In addition to improving equity, closing these gaps would increase funding for vital government operations. Therefore, without regarding an overall change, enforcing different measures and procedures may result in equitable allocation of tax responsibilities. While our tax system has operated for many years, many Americans are dissatisfied with the financial burden pressed on the people, specifically the distribution of taxes between the wealthy and the common day worker. Growing discontent within federal income taxes is reflected in the public opinion. According to a recent poll, only 46% of Americans believe their income taxes are fair, which is the lowest it's ever been since 1999. Perceptions of the unfair tax burden are expected to endure as household budgets are strained by inflation. This pervasive dissatisfaction points to the urgent need for a comprehensive reform that addresses both corporate contributions and the experience of individual taxpayers in order to create a more equal system. Overall, I believe that our government system is effective in the fact that it helps keep our economy running. However, the tax burden should be pushed on the less wealthy everyday worker. It should be a distribution which is fair to each economic class. As the wealthy learn new ways to cheat the system, the economic burden relies on average everyday American. This is simply not fair, as the average day American cannot keep up with our wealthy. With this essay, I hope to everyone that they understand the importance of paying their taxes and doing their part in society to bring about a great change within America. Thank you for this presentation.